One of the questions we get from so many people that are looking to move to Serbia and purchase real estate is that they're looking at their options when it comes to getting a mortgage through a bank here in Serbia. Now, there are some complexities when it comes to that, but it is possible. But at the same time, we here at Relocation Serbia have also opened up another door that does not have to deal with the banks. So if you're going to want to purchase real estate here in Serbia, you're going to want to stay tuned. Now, of course, here at Relocation Serbia, we do help people that are looking to get residency here in Serbia do it so through investment by purchasing property. This does not matter if it's a house or an apartment, as long as it's something that you can live in. That is all the qualifying that needs to be looked at. It cannot be an agricultural property. It cannot be near a military base. It cannot be government-owned property. But if it's not one of those three options, you can purchase some sort of property here in livable conditions and be able to obtain residency. But one of the questions that we get from so many individuals is that, hey, listen, we don't have the down payment, or we have the down payment to make on a property here, but we don't have the full amount. And so what are the chances of us as foreigners being able to obtain a mortgage here in Serbia? And today we're going to get into this through this article from the Serbian Monitor that talks about foreigners can get a mortgage in Serbia, although it is quite complex. And again, like we've mentioned to many of our other clients, the bank has full discretion over if they're going to approve you, if they're not going to approve you. This even comes down to a bank account. So some banks here in Serbia will not allow Americans to open up bank accounts simply because of the additional paperwork that the banks would have to do for American citizens, because you are taxed on your worldwide income. And so they have to deal with all the FATCA forms and all that. And so there are a number of banks here in Serbia that will open up bank accounts that will allow you for mortgages. But this article will just give you the brief overview, and I'll leave this article as well in the description of this video. Purchasing property in Serbia, especially when financed by a mortgage, is a major life decision, whether it involves returnees from the dystopia or foreign nationals wishing to make a home here in the country. Now, one of the things is the returnees coming into Serbia, which we also help with, is that a lot of them have the right to getting citizenship. They've either had citizenship, let it lapse, and all they have to do is renew it, or there's individuals like myself who are able to get citizenship by descent. And so what they do is they file for their descent paperwork to get citizenship, wait a few months. Now it's actually more like 5 to 8 months for citizenship by descent process, because there's so many applications going in and so many people moving back to Serbia who once were citizens or are descendants of Serbian citizenship, and they have the right to do so. But regardless of that, they are able to navigate this system a little bit quicker than if you were just a foreign national. Now, getting into this article, although the most common challenge is finding the perfect flat or house, for many, the real hurdle to obtaining a mortgage for non-residents, meaning Serbian citizens who have lived abroad for over a year, or foreign nationals who do not meet the conditions for resident status, getting a mortgage in Serbia is entirely possible, but it comes with a number of specific legal, administrative, and banking requirements. A resident is defined as someone who has permanent residence in Serbia unless they have been outside of the country for more than 12 months. In that case, or if you are a foreign national without residence in Serbia, you are legally considered a non-resident. Now, There is a difference between a tax resident and a resident here in Serbia. A tax resident is if you're here for over 183 days out of a year, you are then a tax resident here in Serbia. If you have permanent residency here in Serbia, then you're pretty much like a citizen, just that you do not have the right to vote and a couple other minor issues. Although the law allows banks to grant mortgages to non-residents, it is important to know that each such loan is treated as a transaction with a foreign party. That means that the bank has additional obligations to the National Bank of Serbia, as it is considered a specific foreign exchange transaction. The loan can be approved in foreign currency or in dinars without a foreign exchange clause, but only on the condition that the funds are paid directly to the property seller, who must be a resident the lawyers explain. So that is the key right there as well. So we've had individuals who have asked, hey, listen, we have a bunch of money, we want to transfer into Serbia, and we have to do it via a bank, but then they pay it right to the owners themselves. Banks do not differentiate in the basic criteria of granting loans. Both residents and non-residents undergo the same credit worthiness assessment. However, it is far more difficult for non-residents to meet those criteria, as they must provide valid documentation of income earned abroad, as well as proof of regular repayment of financial obligations over the past year. So one of the issues that we see is, for instance, if you are a digital nomad or a YouTuber for that instance. If you're looking to come here, purchase property, those, for instance, as a digital nomad, you're pretty much a self-employed individual. Those individuals are going to have that much more of a challenge to obtain a mortgage here in Serbia. And that is simply because you are self-employed. Serbian banks, for some reason, whatever that is, would much rather that you have a steady income basis. So either through employment, through a retirement fund, whatever that is, than if you were to get money off of YouTube, or if you're a business owner, because that is inconsistent. Now, you may also need to show that you have no other financial obligations outside of Serbia. You're going to have to go through a credit rating, so on and so forth. And there's no actual, one size fits all. Every bank's going to have their own ways of looking at if you qualify or not. One frequently imposed requirement is a larger deposit. Non-residents may be required to provide a significantly higher percentage of cash for the property purchase compared to domestic buyers. While this is not legally specified, banks commonly apply this measure as additional risk protection for such loans. So, for instance, if you are a citizen or a resident here of Serbia, you may be only required to put down 20% to obtain a mortgage here in Serbia. But if you are a non-resident here in Serbia looking to obtain a mortgage, you may be looking at 50, 75% down in order to obtain that loan, just for the bank to protect themselves. And that's something I'm going to touch on at the end of this video, as well as what we are able to do here at Relocation Serbia as well, something to help out our clients that are looking for that transition here into Serbia. Interestingly, under current regulations, banks in Serbia are also permitted to approve loans for purchasing property abroad, but only to residents. In that case, it is not considered a foreign transaction, even though the property is physically outside the country. However, it must be strictly residential property. Holiday homes, holiday apartments, and similar properties are not eligible, as the law strictly defines the term residential real estate, these lawyers point out in this article. When a mortgage is granted to a non-resident, a bank is required to submit special reports to the National Bank of Serbia and secure additional payment guarantees, such as guarantors, mortgages, and other collateral, all of this makes the mortgage process significantly more complex than it would be if would be for an average Serbian citizen. Now, for myself as a Serbian citizen, being that I am a citizen of Serbia, but I am self-employed, I still have issues obtaining loans here or even getting a credit card for that matter. They want me to be in business for a minimum of 2 years. They want me to show that I have no outstanding debts, which none of that is very difficult, but then they're again gonna, it's up to their discretion if and when they grant me those type of loans. One of the things that we have done here with our clients that have moved to Serbia and are looking for some sort of additional income, and I brought this up to a number of our clients that we've worked with here that are either business investors or have made money abroad and or in retirement mode, and they have a bundle of money, but they're looking to make some additional money here without actually opening up a business, is that we've opened up a side of our business where we are able to provide private loans to individuals that are looking to move to Serbia. So we're not technically working with Serbian citizens. We're looking for those that are, say, moving from anywhere outside of Serbia to Serbia and need some sort of bridge loan, some sort of private money to help them with their day-to-day transactions, to help them purchase a car, to help them purchase a property, especially if they have a property abroad that they're waiting to sell so that they can get that money into Serbia to cover the rest of their payment for the house at their or apartment here in Serbia. So some of our clients come here and say, hey, listen, we are looking for a piece of property that is 150, 200,000 euros. We only have, we're short by 50,000 euros. Is there any way that we can, that you can help us? And that's something that we're able to do, is go to our private lenders and be like, hey, listen, we have a client, they need 50K because they're looking to sell their house from abroad and they need 50K so that they can purchase this property here in Serbia while that one gets sold. However, we still go through the whole due diligence process, much like a bank. We do look to make sure that you do not have any outstanding loans, that you do not have any sort of debt. We're going to also need some sort of collateral from you. There's going to be a whole legal contract that comes into place as well through the lawyers that talks about, hey, listen, these are the terms, this is the amount, this is the collateral. Much of the time we take the house as collateral so that if you do default, that house that you purchased here in Serbia is what we take as our repayment process. The only difference is that we do charge a little bit of a higher fee, but it all depends on what the bases are when it comes to that loan. So if you're looking for a loan only for like 6 months, of course, it's going to be a certain interest rate rather than a longer term rate, longer term repayment program, which will be a different rate. And it also depends on the amount, and it also depends on who we find as that lender that is willing to lend that money. If they're comfortable with certain terms, if they're looking for more collateral than just a house, so on and so forth. So this is the answer from this article from Serbian Monitor when it comes to mortgages here in Serbia. But then you also have that additional option working with us, not only to get your temporary residency and help you find those properties that you're looking to purchase, but if you need some sort of help in between when it comes to financing, we are now able to do that as well here at Relocation Serbia. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.